Who would have thought we would have been back at the Hiragi's villa back in this episode of Starmyu season 2? Now, if you saw the first season, this is the same villa that Team Hiragi and Team Otori went to stay for their training program. Now in this season, things are a little different. Of course, these students are auditioning for the licensed Shadows play, and of course Haruto has came into town and he's staying in Japan for about 3 weeks, knowing that he traveled from New York to come there. He's helping the rest of the ancients in preparing these teams to see who's best fit to pass through the auditions and get their parts. Of course, he also has his eyes on the person that Uozumi is interested in, and we all know that is Hoshitani. So while they're staying at the villa for their practice training camp, for the first day they are doing orienting competition. So really this competition was for people to go on random teams by picking through a lot, seeing a number, and whoever had the same number, they are in that team. So the teams are pretty crazy. We had where Hoshitani was with Nayuki, Riku, Hachiya, and Yugawa. Tengenji was with Saratari, Tatsumi, Inume, and Kaito, and poor Kuga, the poor lad, he was with Kitahara and Toriishi, two people he does not want to deal with at the moment or any moment of the day. So the whole point of this competition was for them to go through various checkpoints that is laid out in the forest for them to go through, and whoever reaches the final part, there is a prize awaiting for them. So Hoshitani's team was the one that suffered the most. Because they had Hachiya, who is a very clumsy person, he lost their map. He caused Hoshitani and himself to fall into the riverbank. He fell multiple times. Luckily enough, we had where Nayuki wrote down a map of where they went through, because his team back in season 1 was there originally, so he kind of mapped out the place and where they need to go. So what happened was, within his journal, a picture fell out and Hoshitani got it, and that same picture features a young Otori who was at Ayanagi's middle school. Remember, he got that picture when he went there along with Hoshitani and Riku to go see the play and help out those the middle school kids. So Hoshitani did not look at that picture until like the very ending of this episode. Of course, like I said, his team suffered the bulk of it. He fell into the riverbank with Hachiya, and of course people thought he either drowned or that the fact that his team got lost. So everybody was on a search for them, and they were stuck in a cave thinking that if no one found them, they all were going to die because of starvation, just to find out that that cave was actually just underneath the villa, and it was a wine cellar. So it was pretty hilarious how the fact that, you know, we're going to die, and actually we were just underneath the building. So you kind of felt their embarrassment. There were several funny moments while the competition was going on, like Tengenji poking fun at Yugawa, and also where Kuga, Toriishi, and Kitahara were all racing each other, but actually had to go back to the starting point because the rest of their team didn't come, so you felt bad for him once again. So actually, to come to find out, the big surprise was actually for everyone, and we once again get to see the previous Cow Council, and a song ensues, and everybody's having a good time eating, chatting with each other, and of course, you know, Otori is there, so this surprises and makes Uozumi very excited to see a former student of his, a former younger classmate of his. And we all know that he was very interested in Otori, but unfortunately he was stolen away by Haruto. Now it looks like history might repeat itself, because we had where Otori and Haruto were speaking with each other. And Haruto wanted to kind of know why Otori was so interested in Hoshitani. He admits that Hoshitani has like a mysterious charm to him, but even he notes that that alone cannot carry him if he wanted to go further into a professional career. But knowing that Otori has spent a year with Hoshitani and has gotten to know him, and he himself also know that Hoshitani went to school specifically because of him. He knows that Hoshitani is a very honest, straightforward, and simple person. And while he is just living currently and in the in now, and the fact that his dream is just for the moment, knowing his personality, knowing the type of character he is, it'll lead him to various possibilities to even have an even bigger dream. And because he is so dazzling, because he shines so bright, it's so disorienting. It's like it's blinding to see how amazing Hoshitani is, and he himself doesn't even realize the potential that he has. And Haruto's like, that is interesting. And him saying that kind of scared me, because I know Uozumi, as they mentioned back in last week's episode, anytime he's interested in someone and he sees what they have and he's able to help it grow, they get taken away by Haruto. So it's always a one-sided love on his side. So seeing this and the fact that Haruto is here now and he's going to be here for the next 3 weeks, at least within the timeline of the series, it looks like history is going to repeat itself. Now, by the ending of the episode, we have where the ancients were discussing something and they said they're about to fulfill this mission. So some type of huge project they have, and they're going to tell the second years of what it entails, as well as finally something we have been waiting for season 1, and they never concluded. And luckily we have season 2 to do this. Hoshitani finally decided to look at the picture that he picked up that dropped out of Nayuki's journal. And when he looked at that picture, and then he looked at a young Otari, of course it didn't click in his brain. And then when he thought back on the day he saw this person singing on stage, and he was so enamored by it, because that same person made him make that decision to attend Yanagi's academy, it finally clicked in his brain that these two people is actually the same person, just a younger version. And he realized that all this time the person he has been chasing after was indeed Otari. So I was like, finally he's made the correlation that this dude is Otari. Like, how could you not realize? Like, he has the same hair color. How could you not tell? I was just really happy that he finally found that it was Otari, the person he has admired for such a long time, is actually the same person he's seeing in this picture. So hopefully in next week's episode, or even the following episode, Hoshitani addresses this. Like, I'm thinking Otari is at the villa, he's staying with them for the time being, and hopefully Hoshitani has a sit down with him and talk to him about this, and hopefully we get to hear some things, and some things that were left unanswered in season 1, we finally get the answer in this season. So this was a pretty good episode, really hilarious, and things are really changing, and a lot of things are clicking with each other that didn't get to happen back in season 1, but they're happening in this season. So if you guys saw this week's episode of Starmyu season 2 episode 6, do drop a comment down below so I can see your comments and respond back to you guys. And the links are in the description box as always. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.